In the previous episode, I landed in Iceland and then we saw the Blue Lagoon. Then we went straight to the Reykjavik city and saw the iconic Lutheran church. From there, we drove north to the town Helgafellsvik via the long underwater Velfjörður tunnel. Today, I will be heading south, covering waterfalls and geysers on my way. It's a long way, almost 600 kilometers, from Helgafellsvik to the Black Sand beach. Iceland is a country of spectacular waterfalls. There are countless number of waterfalls, but if you ask me, these are the ones I would highly recommend. This is Seljalandsfoss. It lies on Seljalands river that flows from Eyjafjallajökull glacier. Yes, you've seen it before. This scene was shot in Seljalandsfoss. The most unique thing about this glacier is that you can walk right behind it. The most visited waterfall of southern Iceland is the dramatic Skogafoss. Okay, so here's a compilation of handpicked photographs from my Euro trip, printed in premium matte finish, hardbound, of size 12 into 15 inches. The first book has pictures from Paris and Switzerland. The second covers Amsterdam, Iceland and London. If you wish to get a copy for yourself, you can directly message me on Instagram or Facebook. The link to my Facebook and Insta handle will be provided in the description below. This mammoth waterfall, pouring gallons of milky white water, would make you realize how insignificant you are in front of the force of nature. And just when you thought you experienced it all, the sun shines bright and you see a double rainbow being formed just before your eyes. The feelings which followed after that could not be brought to justice with words. Remember reading about something like this in your geography lesson? The water erupts around 15 to 20 meters in height every 4 to 10 minutes. This is a geyser. Iceland is an extremely expensive country. A basic meal at a restaurant could cost you around 5,000 Indian rupee, and a cab fare from the airport to Reykjavik city, about 50 kilometers far, could be as high as 200 to 250 euros, which would come around 20,000 Indian rupee. Shocking, isn't it? So, is there really a way to travel to Iceland on a budget? Your travel expenses in Iceland could be broadly categorized into 4 parts: food, accommodation, transportation, and fuel. Fuel prices are high, around 120 rupees per litre. You cannot compromise on the fuel as it is directly proportional to the things you see. As I mentioned earlier, cabs are extremely expensive and the public transport scene is pretty limited to the big cities. However, there are tourist buses which would take you around, but it's a sin to see this beautiful country that way. You must get a self-drive car and do a road trip around the island. I have written a blog on this in detail. All your questions regarding how can I drive on a right-hand drive nation, whether an Indian driving license is valid or not, which is the best place to rent a car, etc. shall be answered in the blog. Please read it and write in the comments if you still have questions. Now let's move on to accommodation. Here is a rule of thumb when you are traveling to expensive nations. It would hold true for not only Iceland but mostly all of Western Europe. Avoid hotels. If you're traveling in a group, go for B&Bs and hostels. If solo, you have to stay in a hostel. B&Bs work best because it's cheaper and you can cook your own meals. Same goes for hostels. Why am I stressing over cooking your own meals? I will come to it next. This is the only area where you can save money. No, I'm not asking you to starve on your trip. I'm only asking you to cook your own meals. Having said that, I would still encourage you to try out Icelandic food, as the whole essence of traveling to a new country is lost if you miss out on the local cuisine. But neither would you like having Icelandic dishes 3 times a day for about 10-15 days at a stretch, nor would it be wise to eat out every single time. I've seen people complaining about how costly it is to eat in Iceland, but I've spent the least on food here compared to other European cities like London, Paris, Zurich, etc. Only because I've bought basic groceries and pre-cooked food from the local supermarket owners and cooked my own meals at the B&Bs. If you could cook at least your breakfast and dinner at your B&Bs or hostels, you have no idea how much money you can actually save. Well, value for money is not something that exists in a particular country. In fact, it's something one needs to find out as a traveler, wherever he goes. But besides the petty money talk, I believe the experience that you would take back from here is priceless. When you walk on that black sand, with small ice crystals scattered all over, when you dive between the two tectonic plates dividing North America and Eurasia, when you trek on the glacier through the ice caves and in the middle of the night, you see the dancing lights. I believe at that moment, you can think of anything but money.